camp out on a floating platform where I used a tarp as a Holden tent style configured shelter for sleeping in, but I didn't get to show much of the setup or any of the other stuff that usually goes along with doing a camp out because of the limitations I stated in the previous video. So here I am, back out on the lake by myself for another night of solo kayak camping. This time I will be doing a Holden tent again. Hopefully I will show you more of the setup and what goes into configuring it, and more of doing stuff. Yeah, for doing stuff, right? I've got some steak to cook over a fire. I don't have any utensils, so I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do that, but I'm sure I'll rig something up. So the first thing you want to do is peg in your two back corners as tight as you can get them. So let's just go ahead and get that done. Next, we're going to want to get our center pole set up. For this, I'm using a Woods trekking pole. It also doubles as a monopod for a camera, so it has the little screw that you can screw a camera on. I use this to run through the grommet, and then I loop the paracord over the top, and that should hold it nice and securely. Since it's a trekking pole, it is very nice and adjustable. That's what I kind of found I liked about it. You just unscrew it and you can adjust the height so you can get it to the perfect configuration that you want. So to get that going, I got another tent peg. Through the grommet. Raise it up. That height seems about good for me. It's windy. It's been windy for like 3 days now. And now I'm gonna have to wait because I cannot tension this straight or how it should be with the tarp flapping like this. So really I want it to be perfectly straight with the back line of the tarp. And then I run it out. And then I like to tie this one off with a trucker's hitch. If you don't know what that is, just do a search on YouTube or Google. It is a very handy camping tensioning knot to know. So as you can see, it's starting to take shape. Now it's just a matter of pegging out the other two corners. You can peg out the center grommets of the back and the sides if you want to. It's not necessary. Just depends on what you want. And that is pretty much the completed shelter. I am going to... This tarp has a tie out on the back. I'm actually going to run a piece of paracord through that and lift it up a bit just to give it a little more height on the inside. And since it is a bit windy, I am going to choose to peg out the center grommets along the bottom. Other than that though, it is a fairly easy setup. You can do it with pretty much any rectangular tarp. It's a really handy little configuration to know. Alright, so the setup is complete. The mosquitoes are just starting to come out. It's not too bad, but they're around. Anyway, I have my gear all set up. Same setup as last time. A small picnic blanket with the Ecotech Outdoors Hibernate sleeping pad, which is working really good, and sleeping bag. There's enough room in here for me and my gear. I've got my dry bags, my life jacket is in here. It's calling for a chance of rain tonight, so I'm happy to be able to fit everything under the shelter, since it did keep me dry the last time it rained. I'm starving, so I'm going to have to get my fire started and figure out how I'm going to cook the steak. It's probably going to be on a stick. Voila! I has stick. Okay, well, I finally got my food situation sorted out. I decided to cube up the steak and just skewer it on a stick. I thought that would be the easiest way to do it, instead of having to mess around with laying it out flat and making sure it was cooked evenly on both sides. With it on a stick like this, I can just take it and, you know, this side's getting cooked when it's over here, and I can move it over here to start cooking the other side when I want to. So there I have it. That is how I am cooking my meat. Problem solved. Well, it's starting to get dark and my meat on a stick is almost done. I'm really excited about that. Worked out pretty good. So, like I said, it's getting pretty dark out. I'm really pumped that my food is finally done. Meat on a stick, can't go wrong. Anyway, I realized I don't have any lights with me. I brought 2 candles and the firelight. So I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to film when it fully gets dark. But I will try. Yeah, so I'll show you guys the cozy setup there with the candles going and what little light I do have. Maybe you'll be able to see something. But at least you got to see the Holden tent setup. And a little bit more camping stuff. This is really good. Well, it's raining. It sounds really nice on the tarp. I'm sure it'll be really good to fall asleep to. So I'm going to curl up in the sleeping bag and call her a night. I will check in the morning. Well, good morning. It's about 7 o'clock. It rained a little bit off and on throughout the night, but nothing major. Just having a nice morning coffee. So there you go. This is a very nice tarp shelter. Anyone could do it. You don't have to use a camping tarp. You can use a Canadian Tire, one of those cheap blue ones. It'll work just the same. It is a little more difficult because the grommets are not evenly spaced, but it is possible. Yeah, the clouds are starting to look pretty gnarly. It's supposed to rain again today, more than it did last night. So I think I'm going to finish this coffee and pack up and head on back.